Now you've said something about the 25 to 30, prospect costing very little. Comparing
Yeah,
it
running
to,
back prospects. Yeah.
the recent draft, like the previous one rather, would you say this has been a more favorable, draft season for these teams compared to, the last draft season?
I think that a lot of teams did very well this year in terms of their draft. Now we can't really know and that entirely until by the end of the season. We can't really know how the draft went entirely. We're going to regrade these teams and their draft by the end of the season, right? Depending on how the guys they drafted did. Do you understand? So we won't really know,
Okay.
but just at the face value, I think a lot of teams did very well. So the next one is I want to grade my mock draft. My
Yeah.
mock draft compared to, I'm not going to go into too many details, but
No. But I think, oh, our last episode,
Have
I
you
said,
seen it? Are you looking at it? I'm not going to go into all the details, right? So we're just talking about the first round, right? We're not talking about the whole thing. I think I was pretty accurate with a lot of things.
yeah, yeah.
And as far as predictions go for this kind of stuff, I would grade myself a C. I would grade myself a C, even though, some people may grade me like, a little bit less, maybe give me like a C minus. But I'll grade, I mean, as far as mock draft predictions go, I'm just going to go through them really quickly. Their schools, their position. Let's look at it. The first one who got picked up was our Nigerian brother, Emeka Ebuka. He was picked in the first round. He's a wide receiver, Ohio State. He got picked up by Tampa Bay. He's going to play. And even in the preseason, we've seen him play in the preseason. He looks good. He's going to play. The reason why is because there are a lot of injured wide receivers in Tampa Bay. So it's going to be him and Mike Evans. Okay. And the guy, Chris Godwin, who he should be playing behind, is currently recovering from injury. So Emeka Ebuka is going to play off the bat without a doubt, right? He'll probably be the number two till Godwin comes back, and then he'll go to the number three spot. But he's going to play, and I expect a lot of things out of him. He's in a lot of my fantasy. Then another of our Nigerian brothers, Donovan Ezuraku, he got picked up number three. He got picked up by Dallas. I'm very disappointed that Dallas went for an edge rusher, but seeing what they did with Micah Parsons, I now understand why they went there. I just feel bad for Donovan Ezuraku because unfortunately he's going to play the Giants a lot this season and the Eagles, and he doesn't have another pass rusher at the other end to cover for him. He's gonna feel a little bit of baptism by fire. He'll get a lot of plays. I hope he steps up. Just as Nigerian to Nigerian brother, like I hope he steps up. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that he steps up. But he's gonna have a lot of baptism by fire this year. He's gonna play a lot, highly likely to play. Then Alec Ayamanor. I don't know exactly sure where Alec is from. I know it seems like Ayamanor is a Nigerian name. But he has not claimed us at all. But based on his last name, I'm putting him in the African thing. But he claims Canada, and I expect him to play. He's playing for the Titans. I expected him to play some fourth receiver or third receiver, third slot receiver thing. And he's a very talented receiver, so he will have a lot of time to develop and play, and I expect him to play a lot. Arman Membu is, like I've mentioned him before, he's Cameroonian. He was picked in the first round by the Jets, and he's an offensive tackle. He's actually from Missouri, not USC. I don't know why I wrote that. He's going to play. He's going to start, or he's going to be right behind a starter, but he's going to play a lot. I don't have any issues with him. Oluwafemi Oladejo, right? He's going to see the field. He's a linebacker from UCLA. He got picked up by the Titans. I think he got picked up in the third round, not the second round. But he's going to see the field a lot. I've seen him on he's going to see it in some special teams, but I believe he's also going to see it as a backup to the next linebacker that's there. I believe with the Titans, he's going to see the field. There are a lot of Nigerians in the Titans for some reason. They went crazy and picked up a lot of Nigerians on there. So Princely, Uman Milian. Princely was picked up by the Panthers, and I believe he has and he's a linebacker. He was at Ole Miss. He's another Nigerian brother, Princely Uman Milian. He's going to probably play a little bit. He's going to do some special teams, and he's also going to do some backup as well. And Jeff Bessa was picked in the 6th round. He's a linebacker from Oregon. I think he'll just do special teams. He made the team, but I think he'll just do special teams. Marcus Bowe, an offensive tackle from Purdue, was picked in the 3rd round by the New York Giants, the G-Men. Marcus Bowe is going to play. It's not even like I'm a fan of the New York Giants. I've seen him play in the preseason. He's going to play. So you don't even need to worry about that. Marcus Bowe will play. Then we got Andrew Makuba, who is from Texas. He went to Texas. He's a safety slash defensive back. He will play some special teams, and he'll also play. He also has a good chance of playing as a backup because I believe that that's why they brought him in. And he's with the Philadelphia Eagles. Chimarike Dike, picked in the 4th round, wide receiver from Florida, very fast. I think he'll play, but I think they'll put him as a return man a lot. And then he'll be like a 4th or 5th receiving option, something like that. But I think he's going to play as a return man because I think this guy ran like a 4.34. He's very fast. Chimere is a very fast guy. He's a very fast guy. So I think he's going to see the field a lot on special teams, especially. Kyle Monongai, picked in the 5th round, running back with the Chicago Bears. They say that he's going to play a lot, and I've seen them use him a lot in the preseason. So I think he's going to play a lot. Phil Mofa from Ivory Coast, who played for Clemson and was picked in the 7th round. He was a very good running back in college, and he's currently with the Cowboys. I don't know, man. I think he made the team, but I think they're going to use him in special teams a lot first. Then maybe they might bring him in, but I don't. The Cowboys are weird, man. I don't have much faith in how much they'll use Phil Mofa or how much playing time he'll get. So we got Bilal Cohn, cornerback from Western Michigan. Low, he got picked up by the Ravens. He's only going to be on the practice squad. I think right now he's designated as a practice squad guy, so he's not going to see the field a lot this year. Ahmed Hassaneini, Egyptian. I love this guy because I like his story. He's never played football in high school. He just came from Egypt and then went to college and then got a scholarship with Boise State to play football and became like a huge football fan. He's a defensive lineman slash defensive end from Boise State, 6'2", 267, and he got picked up by the Lions. Unfortunately, I think he's only going to be a practice squad guy. I think there's a lot of football knowledge football things he has to refine on, but he's a very talented guy. And I think that even if he doesn't play this year, he might play next year. I think he's very talented because the guy ran a 4.7 and he's 267 pounds. He's a very talented guy. And I'm praying for him. I think he's going to be a good guy. So finally, we ended with our Nigerian brother, Akin Tommy. Tommy got picked in the 7th round. He's a D tackle, and he's from the University of Maryland Terps. That's my school. And he got picked up by the Cowboys. He's only going to play in the practice squad, man. And but you know what's funny? I feel like he might play because the Cowboys are going to be so bad this year. Just because the Cowboys are going to be so bad, and they just want to see. They'll pull people from the practice squad to say, hey, you know. And look, I'll explain the Cowboys stuff more when we're doing our other episode about grading the teams and what they did in the offseason and why they're in the cesspool that they're currently in. So anyways, that's that. And I want to go straight to grading giving each team a draft grade, right? Like I said, most teams did better than I expected, and they really did their homework. They picked who we expected them to pick based on what they needed in the team, right? Whether it was depth or a need at that time or a need that they're going to have in 2 years or whatever it is. A lot of teams were very strategic. So I'm going to start with the Arizona Cardinals. I gave them an A plus. They did very good because they went after they had issues on defense last year, especially in the trenches. They got a defensive tackle, they got edge, and they got cornerback, and they got a linebacker. They focused on defense, and all the guys they picked were very, very good. So I won't go into too much details about who they were, but they they picked very, very, very good players for the defense, and they hit their need, and they also hit guys who are talented and good players. Baltimore Ravens, A plus, A plus. They picked this a great safety in Malachi Starks from Georgia, and then they also picked an edge rusher. They also picked an extra offensive tackle person, I think in like the third or fourth round, and they also picked a linebacker to increase their depth in the linebacking core. Okay. Then
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers, I will give them an A. They got wide receiver, edge rusher, and running back. The wide receiver they got was one of the best wide receivers that was rated, Tetero McMillan, and they got two edge rushers. They got Princely Omamielan, and then also they got Nick Scranton, which was great. So because they needed to address that. Panthers are going to be a force to reckon with in their conference this year. The G-Men, the Giants. One of my cousins, a few of my cousins will laugh at me about laugh at this regarding this because I used to be a Jets fan when I was a kid, and then I switched to being a Giants fan. Don't crucify me, but whatever. The Giants, I will rate them an A for what they did because they picked the best defensive player I think in this whole draft, hands down, Abdul Carter. We also picked our possible quarterback of the future in Jackson Dart. We also picked Marcus Bowe, an extra own lineman, and we also picked Darius Alexander, a defensive tackle, where we needed some depth. So I will give them a pass on that. The Tennessee Titans, obviously, they did a great job. Picked the quarterback of the future. They picked the linebacker. They picked wide receivers, and then they also picked the safety. The wide receiver, Chimarike Dike Alakayominor, and then they also picked Oluwafemi Oladeju, right, who is a linebacker from UCLA, who I think is going to be very good in the NFL. Then the Seattle Seahawks, I'll give them an A minus. They did very good. They picked an offensive tackle, a safety, Sario. I didn't mention him before. This safety is actually he's actually Nigerian as well, and he's actually great. I don't
Okay.
know why I didn't list him here. And I passed him. Nick Emanwori. Nick Emanwori. Yeah. So he got picked in the second round. He's from South Carolina. 6'3", 220 pounds. Ran a 4.39 in the 40-yard dash. That is incredible. And throughout the whole preseason. He's a safety. He's either going to be starting or be a rotational piece. That's the way I feel. I think he's going to make the team that much better. So that's Seattle Seahawks. Okay. Then we go to the Patriots. The Patriots got an offensive tackle with Will Campbell. They got Travion Henderson, the running back, and then they got a wide receiver. I think that's Kalen Williams. Yeah, Kalen Williams. Also very good from Washington State. Excellent wide receiver. They get an A minus from me as well. Las Vegas Raiders, A minus. Running back, they got Ashton Genty. They got an extra wide receiver. They got two wide receivers, one of which is blowing up the camp right now. And then they got a cornerback, and the cornerback also a great athlete. I think he's from Iowa State. I remember seeing him running a 4.3, 8 or something. Just a fantastic athlete, and he's tall. He's not like a he's like a 6'2" cornerback, which is good. And then they got a guard, and I think they look stacked this year. At least they will be good in the future. If not this year, they'll be good in like next year, right? Really good next year. Jacksonville Jaguars, love it. They got the Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter. They got an extra DB. They got also an offensive lineman, and they got an extra run back in Bishop Tootin. All these are positions that they needed, and then they filled them in there. I give them a B, an A minus, B plus for that, right? Denver Broncos, they got a cornerback, a solid cornerback. I think they picked him in the first round to stack that defense that they already have that's even more stacked up. And then they got my guy, RJ Harvey. They got an extra wide receiver, and they got an edge rusher. I'll give them an A minus, B plus. Then Kansas City Chiefs, I'll give them a B plus. They needed an offensive lineman, even though I felt that the offensive line guy they got was okay. I felt that they could have got somebody else. I felt like they should have moved up, but they went, and picked the offensive lineman was there. They actually added more people to the trenches. They got an extra edge rusher, and they got an extra cornerback. So I gave them a B plus. Their draft was pretty good. The Chargers, the LA Chargers, they got the Omarion Hampton in the first round, running back. They got an extra wide receiver. They got a D tackle in the third round, and they got an extra edge rusher. They're strong contenders to win the NFC, the AFC West this year. I think so. The Jets, B plus. I give them a B plus because they got a really good tight end, who's the son of Mason Taylor is the son of Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, right? And also the nephew of pundit, what's her name again? She just left Fox Sports, but she's also a pundit. And then they got an offensive tackle, Armand Membu, who's fantastic. Mason Taylor is a great tight end. He was a great tight end with LSU. And I think he's going to also be good in the pros. And his preseason tape looks pretty good. All right, the Eagles linebacker, cornerback, DL, and they're sorted. They got Jahid Campbell, a solid linebacker from Alabama, and then they got Andrew Mukaba, a solid cornerback slash safety from Texas. He's a solid guy, I think. And then San Francisco 49ers, they got two trench players, an extra edge rusher, and also a D tackle, and also a linebacker and a cornerback. They focused on defense in their this year. I felt like they could have got one more offensive player, like an extra wide receiver, because they're currently having wide receiver trouble. That's why I didn't give them an A for their draft. But I think that they did pretty well stacking up the defensive side. The Bills, I give them a B plus because they dealt only with defense. I felt like they should have got a wide receiver that was fast because they have only one explosive wide receiver in their group, which is Khalil Shakir. So I give them a B plus, but they focused on the defense and they're gonna. I think that that was a thing that they needed to take care of as well. So I'll just run through this now. Tampa Bay, I give them a B. They got wide receiver, cornerback. They got wide receiver, cornerback. That's where Mecca Ibuka went to. That was good for them. I actually give them a B plus because of them getting that wide receiver, not because it's a Mecca Ibuka, but just because that's what they needed. They got two cornerbacks and they got an edge rusher. The Houston Texans, they didn't do much, but I thought that they double dipped on wide receivers. I didn't think they needed to double dip on wide receivers, but they definitely needed an offensive lineman. They got that. And then they got a cornerback to add to their defense. I really think that where they should have double dipped was for offensive linemen because the quarterback for the Texans kept getting hit last year a lot, and I felt like that's where they should have double dipped. However, I do like the wide receivers they got, but I give them a B for that. Cowboys, they got a guard, but they didn't really deal with all the other issues in the trenches that they needed. They did get a guard for offense where I expected them to get more trench players was on defensive line. And they didn't do that. They just got Jonathan Nezaraku as an edge rusher. And then they got a cornerback and they got Phil Maffa. That's not going to do much for them. I give them a B though because of the guard and Donovan Ezraku because I thought he was going to be opposite Micah Parsons, but I would have still liked to see them get a defensive tackle. However, whatever. The Dallas Cowboys are crap, so it doesn't really matter to me. So the Colts, I give them a B because they got a tight end with Tyler Warren, and they got an edge rusher and a cornerback. I didn't see too many other things besides Tyler Warren that I really liked. I didn't even like their edge rusher that much, so that's why I gave him a B. Los Angeles Rams, they didn't have much to do, but they got a good tight end to take over from their current tight end, and they had an edge rusher, and they got a decent running back. But I feel like they're already stacked at running back, so why get another running back? The Steelers, I give them a B minus because they didn't really do much of what I expected. I did like that they got Caleb Johnson, but outside of that, the players they got in the D tackle and edge positions, I didn't really like. I didn't think the Chicago Bears had much to do this draft, so yeah, I give them a B minus. However, I felt that getting Colston Loveland was not like they already have a really good their tight end there is really good, and they went and got another wide receiver, Luther Burden, and I didn't think that that was necessary. So I didn't really I thought that, yeah, these are okay players, but I give them a C plus for their effort. Atlanta, I give them a B minus because they finally went and got pass rushers. So that's why I got them there. Detroit, give them a B minus because there wasn't much for them to do, but I did like that they got extra D line help and extra offensive line help for their team. Packers, every other position was neither here nor there. The main thing that I liked that they got was Matthew Golden, so I give them a B minus. Washington Redskins, I gave them a C plus. Vikings, I gave them a C plus. Miami, I gave them a C, but I only gave them a C because they got D line help. New Orleans, I gave a C minus because I didn't think they should have got Tyler Shuck so early. So that's it for my ratings for the teams. And I don't know if I'm missing a team here, but maybe next episode I'll take care of that.
Do you mind telling us how bad it is for the Cowboys, this season?
I'm not gonna tell you this episode. I will tell you next episode
The
because
next,
next episode I'll spend an hour explaining everything to you. Next episode I'll do it. I think I've kind of run out of time myself, but yeah,
okay.
any other questions you have for about the Cowboys and all that stuff, just leave them for the next episode. I promise I will explain it to you because the Cowboys is a whole series, eh? They can make a film about what just happened in the offseason with the Cowboys. All right. So don't worry. Next episode, I'll definitely tell you. All right. Next episode. All right.
All
But
right.
thanks,
No,
buddy. Thanks.
no problem. It's always nice having you on sidelines, and trust me, this is a more detailed explanation as to Benny perceiving that, oh, Sanders was just being pulled to the side for some reasons, but after the explanation that you've had on sidelines, I'm sure most people would have to go back to their drawing board and
Hey,
understand.
I mean, they can look at it. I mean, people
Yeah,
have their opinions about it, but the truth is,
work with emotions, it works
yeah.
with that and readiness. And I think you've
Mhm.
done that. Thank you so much for always joining us. And we're looking forward to the next episode because of the Cowboys. I myself,
Yeah.
I know it will.
Cowboys, though. Look, I can write a novel. People can write books about what's happening with the Cowboys. Incredible team. All right. Thank you very
You have
much. I appreciate it.
to tell us how they got there and what
Yeah,
is going.
I will tell you everything. I swear I'll tell you everything
All right.
because it's so interesting. It's so interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Scott, for always, joining us. And like I said, we'll look forward to the next episode.
All right. No problem. Have a good one.
All right.